Good afternoon and welcome to East Brunswick High School football. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro along with Phil Hill and Jim Allinder for today's first round playoff game for Madison Central High School between East Brunswick and Madison Central. Gentlemen, this is the third time East Brunswick's played Madison Central within the 12-month period. So they're not strangers to one another. But let me start off here with Phil and look at East Brunswick.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not the impossible dream. First of all, you got to look at the fact that East Brunswick has the opportunity to play Madison Central again, an opportunity to erase a very devastating game. And quite frankly, John, they have a chance. They've been playing better the last 2 weeks. They played well against Bayonne, well against Woodbridge. Ryan Forte has had more time than he's had in the past. That offensive line has been doing a great job lately. The running game has come on well. Dave Goldstein has been doing a good job. But I've been looking at the very little things. They've been doing a lot of downfield blocking. Last week on a penalty where a play was called back, you had Joe DeVito and Ramon Trent fighting to throw a downfield block as a result of penalty. But that's the type of intensity. They're a changed team, and they got to be glad that they have this opportunity to get back at Madison Central.
Okay, Jimmy, I guess the real question for Madison Central at this point is, how is Ed Walsh? We know that he had suffered, I guess, a minor concussion in his last game, and now I'm sure we're going to see him out here. To what extent?
There should be no problem whatsoever. As a matter of fact, he played the latter portion of the game there with last week, and he's in excellent physical condition. These are young kids. They respond and they bounce back very well. The point I want to make about this game is I think we've been cut a break today with respect to the weather. There is a storm moving in, but it's not supposed to reach here till tonight, and along with it is going to come some winds, the kind of windy conditions that we experienced last year, if you remember, and it had a significant effect on the game. These are not bad weather conditions today. It is chilly, but it's not windy. I think it bodes well for East Brunswick's passing game with Brian Forte. With respect to Madison Central, they simply are one of the best teams in the state, and I'm not sure they're the type of team that a 55-3 score would indicate that they are better than East Brunswick. That is not the case. East Brunswick wants to prove that today, but they still have the horses. Madison Central has a tremendous running game. Special teams is another thing to look at. East Brunswick always prides itself on special team play. I think Madison Central has a real strength in that area, particularly number 23, I believe his name, Chris Nugent. This guy is like a kamikaze pilot coming down the field. The defense we could speak a lot about. Rob Stanovich, the all-state defensive end on one side, Keith Barry, John Santora, just a tremendous front, which is going to be testing the East Brunswick offensive line that Phil talked about. That is going to be one of the key matchups this afternoon, the East Brunswick offensive line versus the Madison Central defense. And then finally, the ability of Madison Central to move the ball with the wishbone offense has created problems for East Brunswick before. We saw what it did to them last time. East Brunswick really has something to prove this afternoon.
Okay, this is a whole new season.
That's correct.
The records don't mean anything, even though Madison Central comes in undefeated. East Brunswick comes in 7-2. It's a single elimination tournament. That's the way the state playoffs are run. East Brunswick and Madison Central, we've watched a number of games over the years. It should be a good one today, a lot at stake. The weather is a little cool. It's a typical fall November afternoon. We're ready for some great football. East Brunswick, Madison Central, and we'll be back with the start of the action in just a moment. Well, good afternoon once again, and welcome to Madison Central High School for today's East Brunswick-Madison Central State Playoff game. Gentlemen, it's getting a little nippy, overcast day, but I don't think they're going to feel the cold on the field, Phil.
Not at all. This is the one they've been waiting for, and it should be a great one, John. All the ingredients are there. The revenge factor for East Brunswick, and Madison Central trying to prove that they are the top team in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, we can pick it up from where we were last week. I was corrected by official statistics by Bill Munyon, and he tells me that Dave Goldstein needs but, I believe, 16 yards to break the record held by, who was it held by?
Dave Kurzow.
Dave Kurzow, okay. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not going to be the most important aspect of this game this afternoon. But something to mention about Dave Goldstein is that he is averaging for the season 6.6 yards per carry. That's quite an impressive mark, considering that East Brunswick
had thought that they were going to be a passing-oriented team, and they have gone to Goldstein 137 times this year. That's a lot of rushing.
Okay, you see the East Brunswick captains out in the center of the field along with the Madison Central captains. And it looks as though Madison Central has received or will receive.
Yes, they are.
And they will be moving left to right on your screen in the dark jerseys, East Brunswick in the visitors' white.
Phil, I bet you East Brunswick's not totally displeased about that.
Probably not. They're going to have to make some things happen defensively. And they're going to get the opportunity right off the bat here. If you remember the first game, the first 3 plays, they actually did force Madison Central to lose ground. Then, of course, that pop pass to Rob Stanovich broke the game wide open. So
I wonder if the Bears will be ready for that one this time. I'm sure they will. Something interesting, Marcus Borden is wearing a headset this afternoon on the other side of the field. That's not something that I have never seen him done before. And that tells me that he is going to be in direct communication with his spotters up on the top.
All right. We're about ready to get this game underway. Chris Nugent, number 23, and Mike Bowden, number 21, go back deep for the Spartans. Dan Levine will kick it off for the Bears.
Danny Levine closing in on some season and career marks for East Brunswick as kicker.
Number 23, Chris Nugent. Number 21, Mike Bowden. About to kick off for East Brunswick, number 5.
There is a wind blowing. The wind is blowing from right to left on the field, so that means it's coming across from the East Brunswick bench to the Madison Central bench. We'll see if that has really any effect on the passing game or, in fact, with punting and extra points. But we're about ready to go. Dan Levine is waiting for the whistle, and here we go. This state playoff game is underway. That's Nugent with the ball at about the 2-yard line. And he'll get up across the 20.
All things considered, not a bad coverage for East Brunswick.
they're looking very physical, very tough there, very hungry.
Yes, they do.
25-yard line where the Spartans will have the ball 1st and 10.
All right, Madison Central will start out 1st and 10 from their own 25.
Here's Brian Forte, John.
We expected to see that today.
Yes, we did.
And again, Madison Central uses that wishbone offense. Ed Walsh, number 1, is the quarterback. Angelucci, Nugent, and Bowden are in the backfield with him. Walsh keeps. And he'll pick up 3 yards.
Walsh on the keeper, tackled by number 55, Mark Rulo.
I'll tell you, normally you'd be concerned about a 3-yard pickup, but I think the Bears have to be pleased. They appear to have shut down the middle there and still were able to contain Walsh. A good sign early on.
Right, the middle is what killed East Brunswick in the last meeting between these two teams.
2nd and 8 for Madison Central. They're in the middle of the field, the soft part of the field. Walsh gives it to Angelucci. Angelucci picks up 2 more.
Yeah.
Stopped by number 55 for East Brunswick. That's Mark Rulo.
And we've said it the last 4 times that they played that if they can stop that fullback, then they have a good chance of controlling everything else. They've stopped the fullback thus far.
Angelucci picks up 2. Let's call it 3rd and about 6.
Normally a passing down, but you probably won't see Madison Central pass here.
Ball just shy of the Madison Central 30. Walsh has it, looking to get outside. He's got some room, still on his feet. He's got the 1st down.
Nice block applied there on the left side.
Up to the 40-yard
think that
line
was
for a Spartan 1st down.
Trino Dono that was sealed off on the left side, and that was all that Walsh needed to get outside.
But I tell you, the point there, an obvious passing downs for most teams, and they have so much confidence in how they run the wishbone that, as you can see, they clearly pick up the 1st down.
Madison Central now has it 1st and 10, just across their own 40. First period action, no score. Little counter play. That's Bowden, and Bowden's hit right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and Duano, who was the victim of the last play, was able to make the tackle.
I'll tell you, an emotionally charged Bear team there. They are hitting, looking aggressive, and looking far better at any time than they looked in the last time they met.
Bowden, in fact, loses about a half a yard. Let's call it 2nd and 11. Walsh calling signals. Keeps the ball, and he'll struggle forward for about 2 yards.
Sean Smith was able to get a hand on Walsh's foot, tripped him up.
Ed Walsh on the keeper.
And again, Madison Central has a third down. This time it'll be 3rd and 9.
And I'd be surprised if they don't pass this time, even though they're capable of picking it up without passing.
Yeah, that's a little far to go.
Ball on the Spartans' 43-yard line, 3rd and 9. First period action here from Madison Central High School. Over the middle,
Ooh.
and just out of the hands of Donnelly.
Pass incomplete, intended for number
And that'll bring up a 4th down and a punting situation, something we did not see the first game.
That's
Yeah.
right. And I tell you, give Ramon Trent credit. He's right on Donnelly there. They tried a quick pop pass, and Ramon Trent was right there. The pass was a little off, but Trent was right there.
Trent and Harmon go back for the Bears. Awaiting the punt. The punter will be number 55. That'll be Keith Berry.
Keith Berry, back deep for the Bears. Number 3, Ramon Trent. And number 34.
Good snap. Berry gets off a low kick. Harmon catches it and is going to be taken down at his own 32. I would have thought he would have called for the fair catch,
I'm
Phil.
not surprised he didn't. Mark Harmon has a lot build up inside him because he hasn't touched that ball offensively all year. And any opportunity he gets, he's going to try to get it. He's very sure of his hands, so really no problem there.
And you want to talk about emotional lifts early in the game. East Brunswick's defense shuts down the wishbone, and now they go on offense, 1st and 10 from their own 32. And Forte comes out in a shotgun formation. Giroux to the left, Trent to the right. And they've got Feldman in the slot. Passes to Feldman, it's complete, but whistles are blown. A flag is down.
Well, that wouldn't probably be the offensive line moving just a little too. No, I'll take it away. East Brunswick signaling that offside.
Someone must have lined up in the neutral zone for Madison Central.
And I tell you, you got to like what East Brunswick's doing. They know they have to move that ball on 1st down. They cannot wait for that all crucial 3rd down. They got to move the ball on 1st down, pick up some yards, and just keep Madison Central off balance.
So Giroux is wearing number 14. That's a 3rd number I think he's worn this year. He started out with number 18, moved down to 17, so he's moving even closer to the single digits.
All right, it'll be 1st and 5 for the Bears. The ball just across their own 35-yard line. Again, that shotgun formation. They have 3 receivers to the left. Forte looks outside to Trent. Trent's got it. And he's going to be marked just short of the 1st down. So it'll be 2nd and a long 1 for the Bears.
Mike Bowden on the tackle, number 21 there, preventing Trent from getting that 1st down. But nevertheless, the Bears are moving the ball, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to throw underneath. They're going to go with the draw play.
Obvious strategy is to give what Madison Central is, take what Madison Central is giving him, and it's the short pass so far.
All right, Potter, Giroux, and Feldman all to the left. Trent to the right. Shotgun once again. Forte stutters a little bit, and then is going to take it. He's got the 1st down. East Brunswick.
First stop led by number 72, John Santoro.
Yeah, it's good for 2 yards. 1st down.
And Phil and Jimmy, I think the only focus right now is to score first for East Brunswick. They need a touchdown.
They want to get ahead. They want to jump out of front. They want to put pressure on this Madison Central team. Colonia was able to do it late in the game, and it sort of made a difference for a while anyway. So they want to see how they react once they're behind. They haven't been that way this year.
7:45 left in the first period. No score, East Brunswick, Madison Central. It's 1st and 10 for the Bears at their own 43. Forte, a little screen out to Giroux. Giroux needs a block, gets outside. He'll pick up about 5 yards.
Stanovich, 99, was on the pursuit there, but not before Joey Giroux got himself about 7 important yards on the 1st down. It brings up a 2nd and short. It's nice to see Giroux in there. I think he really adds another dimension to the East Brunswick passing game.
That's without a doubt.
They give Giroux 6. Let's call it 2nd and 4. The ball just shy of midfield. Again, shotgun formation. Forte.
Oh, he's got room.
He's going to go outside. He looks to throw, keeps it, goes down the sideline, steps out of bounds. I believe he's got the 1st down.
Yes, he does.
3rd down.
So the shotgun formation is causing all sorts of problems thus far for Madison Central.
And it is a 1st down. Bob DeMarco said his main concern is containing Brian Forte. He scares him when he passes. He scares him when he runs on a broken play. And you saw it happen just there.
1st and 10 for the Bears. At the Madison Central 45. Forte looks, got time. He has Potter over the middle. Great catch, Dave Potter.
Well, Potter knew he was going to get hit when he went up, but he was willing to sacrifice his body, and for the 5 downs that East Brunswick was able to get.
And Potter's just been playing great the last few games that he's been in. He's just looked super. Caught practically everything thrown his way. Kyle Oviedo hit him with a solid tackle there. Nevertheless, he held on to the ball.
5-yard pickup, 2nd and 5 now for the Bears. At the Madison Central 40. Forte looks to the sideline. He's got Trent all by himself. Trent breaks away from one tackler, and he's got a first down, East Brunswick. And the Bears are on the move like we've never seen them before.
I tell you, a great precision. They look confident. They're getting blocking from that offensive line. The sideline's pumped up. The fans are pumped up, and they got something going.
Right, I would not be surprised to see a timeout by Madison Central fairly soon. They are not really comfortable being able to cover the short pass.
Ball spotted at the, I believe, Madison Central 25. I can't tell from here. Anyway, it's 1st and 10, and the Bears are looking good. Forte again from the shotgun, has time, looks, now he's going to roll to his left.
There's Trent
Still looking,
great
sidesteps one player and goes out of bounds. Picks up about 7 yards.
Right, John, he's right by the first down marker.
We're having trouble picking up the yard markers, as you know from past games here.
I tell you, Brian Forte looking like an old Madison Central great who used to do the very same thing. Glenn Davis. Glenn Davis would break out, point to where he wanted his teammate to block, and keep on going.
Interesting, Goldstein is not even in the lineup. It looks like they're going with actually four receivers here.
They got 3 to the right. It's 2nd and about 2 from around the 15-yard line of Madison Central. Forte still has time. Looks, the middle's open. Now he's caught. He's still on his feet.
Whoa.
Gets a couple blocks. And he'll go out of bounds, but I think he got back. Well, he lost about 5 yards, I would think. Let's see where they spot it.
And make it a loss of 3, John.
Oh, I think it's a little more than that, Jim.
Okay. Other than Forte running, let's see, 4 times, East Brunswick has not used any of its backs.
Well, Borden has to come with something new here, and he's going with what he thinks he can beat this team with, and that is the passing game.
They come with an I formation this time. DeVito and Goldstein in the backfield. A fake to Goldstein. Forte has it. He's looking for the corner of the end zone. The ball's hanging up and knocked down. Nice play by Walsh.
So we're going to see a field goal attempt here, apparently.
I'll tell you, had Walsh and Donnelly there, had the ball well covered. Brian decided to use the touch pass there, and I think this is a case where you really want to put something on it.
It was not called for. Madison apparently had Trent well covered, and it just gave them that much more time to react to the ball. Fortunate that it wasn't intercepted.
Correct.
For the viewers, I want to point out that Dave Goldstein is wearing number 29, and they're going to go for it on 4th and about 6. Forte has it, rolls right, looking, looks over the middle. There's Feldman, and he drops it. Dave Feldman drops it, hit by number 23, Chris Nugent. And that would have been a first down and goal for the Bears.
Eat play thus far.
I'll tell you, a vicious tackle by Chris Nugent, jarring the ball loose. Nevertheless, the Bears came out and showed something, John. They've moved that ball down the field. They got to feel confident. They've been aggressive, and they've been taking it to Madison Central. They've had something old, something new, and now they're hoping to make Madison blue. We'll see what happens.
All right, the Bears defense back out, and the pressure is on them. This is the key for the game, and that is the East Brunswick defense. Forte stays in on defense. Walsh brings him out, 1st and 10, just shy of the Madison Central 20. Walsh has it, still on his feet. He'll pick up, let's say, about 3 yards.
And it looks like Duano almost had him again.
2nd down.
He got a piece of him, Jimmy. Spun him around just long enough for the rest of the defense to come up to make the tackle.
2nd and 7 for the Spartans. No score, 5:20 left here in the first period. Donnelly comes out wide right.
Somebody moved.
Flags are thrown, and it's going to be against Madison Central. I believe their tackle jumped off.
Yep.
Well, I got to say that offensive series for East Brunswick was the best we saw this year.
Just a great one.
Okay, guys, I'll tell you what. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't get any points out of it. I think they really wanted to score, and you got to take what you can get from Madison Central every opportunity, and the fact that they couldn't get at least 3 points out of that just disappoints me.
Well, I think part of it, too, Jimmy, is that field goal. Those 3 points are just a stigma East Brunswick has, and they were looking for that touchdown. Anyway, it's 2nd and 12 now for the Spartans. And a flag is thrown, and I don't know who jumped this time.
That's
Well,
Joe Hinkins that time jumped off. I thought he got back, but apparently some contact was made.
And it is against East Brunswick.
Procedure against
So we'll
East
go back to
Brunswick.
where we were, and it'll bring up second
Well,
and about 7.
Jimmy, to expound on what you're talking about, 3 points is 3 points, but they were moving, Jimmy, and be quite frankly, the ball was there. The ball was there for another first
Yes, it
down.
was.
It would have broke probably Madison Central's back.
As a matter of fact, you want to, well, I would like to analyze it a little bit more after that.
All right, 2nd and 7 for the Spartans. Inside, Angelucci right up the middle. And he's finally tripped up by Forte. First down, though.
Big gainer for the Spartans, puts him out of trouble.
44-yard line.
But talking about that pass, I thought Brian was just a little soft on it. If he had gotten there a little sooner, then I think Charleston would have been in a better shape to take that hit.
And the wishbone opening up a little bit.
All right, 1st and 10 from their own 44. 4:35 left, first period, no score. Right up the middle goes Nugent.
Ed Wolf, handoff to half.
Another first down.
And John,
For another Spartan first down.
that's that predetermined play. That's that counter. They'll do it on the left side, and Nugent will run it. On the right side, Bowden will run it.
Well, 2 times now up the middle, Madison Central has found good yardage. 2 first downs in a row.
Official timeout.
And someone's limping on the side. It's Sean Smith for East Brunswick.
And you don't want to lose him, John.
We've got an injury timeout.
Phil Hostler looking at Sean on the sidelines. It'll be 1st and 10 for Madison Central. The ball at the East Brunswick 45. 4:20 left here, first period. No score. East Brunswick, Madison Central. First round of the New Jersey State Group 4 Central Jersey playoffs. Walsh fakes, tries to sneak up the middle, and picks up a yard.
Yeah, he was caught there.
Walsh on the keeper. Stop on the play by number 55, Rulo.
Mark Rulo having an outstanding game thus far on defense.
Right, Todd Picaro is also in there.
Walsh doing a little stutter step, then trying to take it up the middle. No room, however.
A lot of action thus far in this first period. Both teams going up and down on one another. Walsh still has it, trying to get to the outside. Pitches,
Forward pass.
Still legal.
and that's to Nugent, who carries it. And I believe he's got the first down.
There's
We'll
a
see where they
flag.
mark it.
There's a flag.
Oh, okay.
That was a forward lateral, or
Yes,
appeared to be.
Certainly was.
Holding against Madison Central. Well, the lateral got by the officials, but the holding did not.
Can't imagine why there's this discussion here. I think East Brunswick wants to take this penalty.
Preliminary call, holding against the offense.
So should still be second down here.
Jimmy, I'm looking at the center of that field, and it's really getting mucky out there. You can see the
Yeah.
grass being torn up. And I'm just wondering what it's going to look like in the second half.
It'll be tough. As you know, Madison Central's Lombardi Field here was never in great shape. They did an excellent job in trying to refurbish it, but the field can only take so much abuse. And now we're getting into the time of the year where it's really starting to show.
And it's used by 2 teams, both Cedar Ridge and Madison Central.
We have an official timeout as they're working on the pads of Ed Walsh. We have 3:36 to go, first period, no score. It's second and about 14 for the Spartans. So the advantage goes to East Brunswick at this point. And there's that little counter again,
Ooh,
Phil.
that's a
And
counter.
Nugent goes right up, and he's still on his feet and gets the first down.
Wow.
Carry on the play.
They just can't seem to stop that play.
It's vintage Madison Central.
And I'll tell you one thing, John. They talk about Stanovich and they talk about Walsh, but after watching the Colonia game, I came away with great respect for this kid here, Chris Nugent. He is a workhorse and a lot of heart.
He sort of just explodes out of the backfield.
First down, Madison Central. Ball spotted at the East Brunswick 32-yard line. Angelucci up the middle,
He stopped.
and the ball's loose.
One Angelucci.
And they're going to blow it dead.
Ball.
Wouldn't have mattered. Walsh recovered it anyway.
5-pound catcher.
But they seem to be shutting down the fullback, Phil.
They have,
But they can't
for the
stop
most
that
part.
counter.
That counter, they haven't.
They give Angelucci a yard, so let's call it 2nd and 9. 2:45 first period. Walsh still has it. Taken down, he'll pick up with about 3 yards though.
Keeper stopped by number 34, Mark Harmon.
Mark Harmon in on the tackle. Mark Harmon has an awful lot of tackles this year. John, I tell you, one reason why they may be having more success with the counter is predetermined and they're blocking someone. With Sean Smith out of there, they may be taking advantage of the situation.
All right, 3rd and let's call it 5 for the Spartans. Another 3rd down series. And timeout is called. And they're asking people on the sideline to step back.
Yeah,
a lot of people on the sideline.
A lot of people with no real function at all there.
All right, 3rd and 5. Ball at the East Brunswick 28. There's that counter with Nugent. Nugent spins forward. I think he's short of the first down, though.
Very close, John.
He's going to need himself about a yard. Well, they're going to mark it right on the whatever yard line that is.
I think it's the 25.
25. It's going to leave him about 2 yards short.
And 4th down, and they're going for it.
Keep play.
4th and 3.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the counter to the other side. A predetermined play with Bowden trying to pick up this 1st down. Let's see.
Here we go. Madison Central on 4th down. Walsh over the middle. Ball's up in the air. Let's see who's got it.
He caught it.
Son of a gun.
Donnelly caught it.
Donnelly, does he have it? Yes. 1st down, Madison Central. That little looking pass, Donnelly bobbled it.
Just an extraordinary play by Brian Donnelly. He was nailed and took the ball out of the air. And, boy, I'll tell you what, that's really having a sense of where you are.
That's right. He's a tremendous athlete. Trent couldn't have played it any better. Made a vicious tackle on the young man. Ball popped up, and Donnelly still held on to it.
First and 10, Madison Central from the East Brunswick 15. 1:15 to go, first period. Walsh has it, has some room up the middle, and he'll pick up 7 yards.
Walsh on the carry, stop on the play by number 65.
East Brunswick
Gonzo
definitely needs to avoid giving up the big 1st down yardage. Gives Madison so many options here.
2nd and 3 for the Spartans. Ball just inside the East Brunswick 15. Angelucci up the middle.
Ooh.
He's down to the 5, or to the 10 rather.
Carry on the play by number 31.
No, I think that is the 5-yard line.
Stop for East Brunswick, number 50, Matt Pazinko, number 34, Mark Harmon.
So it's another 1st down for Madison, and they have methodically moved up the field.
First down.
And we see Sean Smith back in there defensively.
Spartans now have it 1st and goal from the 5. 4 shots at it. Angelucci. He'll pick up 2.
Angelucci with the carry.
Down to 20 seconds.
That should be the last play of this quarter.
And both teams looking to wait for the end of the period. 5 seconds.
Well, I'd be interested to know if Madison has ever gone first quarter without scoring.
And that will do it. The end of 1 quarter here from Lombardi Field. No score, East Brunswick, Madison Central. But Madison Central has the ball on about the 3-yard line.
I'd venture to say, Jimmy, this is the first time this year that they've gone through the first quarter without scoring.
Yeah.
They're a team known for getting out early and
Right.
just blowing teams away.
Exactly. They rely on to get out of the gates early and then applying pressure, causing the offense to take chances. And I think East Brunswick can feel comfortable in being able to move the ball like they did. Even though they did that in the first game, it seems like they are confused Madison Central. And if it just wasn't for just a split second of being able to complete that 4th down pass in the 5-yard line at Madison, East Brunswick would be the team that's up.
Well, it's a state playoff game, and that means that you're looking at some of the best teams in the state. And you're going to see some outstanding play by individuals, and Brian Donnelly showed us one.
Just a super athletic play there. As I said last time they played, Bob DeMarco said as far as the best athlete on the team, it's a toss-up between Brian Donnelly and Ed Walsh, and you saw why.
The ball is spotted just inside the East Brunswick 5-yard line. When the Spartans come out, they'll have it 2nd and goal to start the 2nd period here from Lombardi Field, Madison Central High School.
And we've seen enough of Madison Central this year to know that Walsh likes to keep that ball down in his territory. So let's take a look.
All right, the Spartans come out. Here's that counter with Nugent, and Nugent falls forward. No signal yet from the officials. Short of the goal line, it'll be third down.
It's right on the goal line.
Nugent tried to dive over, but was stopped.
Stopped in midair. Tino Dono in on that tackle, as well as a host of East Brunswick defenders.
Third and goal. About a foot from the goal line itself. Walsh keeps and falls down. Is he in? Yes. And Madison Central gets on the board to start the second period.
Eddie Walsh doing what he always does in that situation, keeping the ball. Outstanding offensive line for Madison Central.
And that is Ed Walsh's 20th TD of the year. He's ranking very high up there in the state, Jimmy. Has a chance, matter of fact, to capture the state scoring title.
Yeah, he very definitely does, especially with the possibility of another playoff game for Madison Central.
Amato on for the extra point. Snap is down, kick is up, and no good, out to the left.
I was going to say, if there's any weak link in the Madison game, it is kicking. Berry is not exactly a great punter, and Amato has not been tearing them up with his point afters this year. So that could loom large in this game.
Could loom very large.
So with 11:26 showing on the clock, second period, Madison Central gets on the board, 6-0. And East Brunswick sends back Pilato, Goldstein, and Trent back deep to receive the kickoff.
Right, you see something else that's evident about Madison Central's wishbone. It is time-consuming. East Brunswick was only able to have one series in the first quarter, and this is only the second time they're going to get their hands on the ball.
Well,
and it's already into the second quarter.
They got into control it, but for a good part of that first half, you got to remember East Brunswick also controlled the ball.
Yep.
It's a good point, though, Jim. When you have it, you got to do something with it, because you don't touch the ball all that often against the wishbone offense, particularly Madison Central.
That's why I wanted to see him score that first time.
And it looks like Donnelly will be doing the kicking, number 7.
That means it's a squibbler then.
They don't want Trent to get it, but it's going to go to Trent. No, I'm sorry, Goldstein will take it at around the 15. And Goldstein with a good return across the 25, close to the 30.
Led by number 68 for the Spartans.
So the Bears will go on offense for the second time this afternoon. They'll have it 1st and 10.
Coverage on the play by number 68.
Yeah, during that drive, Forte was 4 for 6.
And a timeout, Madison Central.
Timeout, Spartans.
Forte showed good distribution, passing twice to Ramon Trent for 4 and 15 yards. Giroux had a catch for 7 yards, and Potter had that 5-yard look-in pass. And Forte was the only one to carry the ball, and he has about 18 yards.
Bob DeMarco asking something of the official. Talked to DeMarco earlier before the game, and DeMarco said he might come with a few new wrinkles defensively. You might see a safety blitz. You might see them bump Trent at the line of scrimmage. He said he doesn't like to do that because that leaves the middle open, but they just might, if they figure East Brunswick is controlling the ball too much, they might try to put them off balance by doing those things.
But Phil, with East Brunswick now showing 4 pass receivers, can they afford to do something like that?
Well, it's a different set than Madison Central has seen before, so they probably won't. They probably do their traditional, regular defense. They have the talent back there to pretty much handle it.
Let's call it 1st and 10 from the East Brunswick 25. And that's my best guess as to where the ball is. Anyway, Forte will take the snap from under center. Trent will come to the right. Feldman to the left. Forte looking, looks over the middle for Potter. He's got him.
Forte pass complete.
Potter may have the first down.
Potter.
Good pass.
Stop on the play by number
He
6.
does, first down, East Brunswick.
I'll tell you, I criticize myself for mentioning Potter so much that he ought to have the ball, but probably the last 9 passes that have been thrown, 8 or 9 passes that have been thrown his way, he's caught every one of them.
1st and 10, East Brunswick. Forte looks again, looks out to the sideline. He's got Giroux. Giroux will pick up about 4 yards.
14, Joe Giroux. Knocked out of bounds by number 7, Brian Donald.
And thus far, this is like a championship fight. Both opponents slugging it out with one another.
And Brian Forte throwing the darts. Look like we could have a record for the number of passes if he continues on this pace. He's doing nothing but passing.
Goldstein and DeVito are in the backfield with Forte. Trent to the right. Drew to the left. Pitch to Goldstein. Steps up in the middle, still on his feet, and is finally tripped up, but he'll pick up about 3 yards when it looked like there was nothing there.
Stop on the play by number 56, Ken Kramer.
And Goldstein has been doing what he's been doing all year, been able to slither through when there seemed to be no room, picking up good yardage.
All right, an important third down for the Bears. It's 3rd and 2, right on midfield.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a pass here.
Forte steps, short drop, rolls to his left, now looks downfield. He's got Drew. Drew makes the catch inside the Madison Central 30-yard line. First down, East Brunswick.
Simple play action there.
A nice play action, a nice touch by Brian Forte, laying the ball right in there for Drew, who did an awful nice pattern.
23-yard pickup.
1st and 10 for the Bears. Ball spotted at the Madison Central 28-yard line. 9:50 to go here, second period. Spartans on top, 6-0. Forte fakes the pitch, inside handoff to DeVito, and he goes right down.
Ooh, a nice.
In fact, he loses a yard.
A nice looking play that didn't develop. And Joey should be careful about throwing that ball down because they could call a delay of game for it.
DeVito loses a yard. Let's call it 2nd and 11. Ball now on the Madison Central, Madison Central 30.
I would be watching for Ramon Trent on this play.
Trent comes out to the right, Drew to the left. Split back formation. Forte, short drop, looks to the outside to Drew. He's got it. He'll pick up about 5 yards.
And I tell you what an extra dimension it is having Drew back. Trent is being double teamed on the right side or wherever he goes, and having Drew back is such a big plus for the Bears.
3rd down, another important 3rd down for the Bears. 3rd and about 6. Ball on the 25-yard line of Madison Central. East Brunswick looking to get on the scoreboard. Forte steps, he's being pressured. Nugent.
Safety blitz.
And the blitz takes him down.
Chris Nugent, who we have talked about before.
By number 23.
And
Nugent.
let's see if East Brunswick calls a timeout here.
And John, DeMarco said he would come with that safety blitz, and you saw it at a crucial time there, and a big play.
4th down.
A big play.
4th and 15 now.
It appears as though they're going to go with it.
The Bears will try on 4th down.
Boy, that was excellent strategy on the Spartans' part.
They're back at their the Madison Central 35. Forte from the shotgun, has some time, now steps out, rolls to his left, puts it up in the air, out of the hands of Potter, and just missed by, I believe that was Drew.
Well, I quite can't understand that he would throw it just a soft pass, probably hoping that his receiver would be able to get the necessary yardage.
Even if the catch was made, it would have been short of the 1st down.
But I tell you again, give Bob DeMarco some credit for a timely call there. He talked about using that safety blitz, used it at the perfect time, and bottled the Bears up.
Well, it is a critical series of downs now for the East Brunswick defense. They have got to stop. They consumed about 3.5 minutes on that drive right there, and they can't allow Madison to get too far ahead.
All right, the Spartans come out 1st and 10 from their own 35. Walsh looking, takes it outside, and he'll pick up 6 yards.
Ed Walsh on the keeper.
Well, I see Sean Smith in there. He made the tackle, so he's back in the game.
You see Ed Walsh maneuvering like that. It's hard to believe, John, that this is a young man, when he was in the 8th grade, broke his femur. And they told him that he probably wouldn't be able to play football again. And now he's obviously one of the best players in the state of New Jersey.
2nd and 3 for Madison Central. Ball spotted at the Madison Central 42-yard line. 7:30 to go, 2nd period. Spartans on top, 6-0. Inside to Bowden.
That's that counter.
Bowden looks to have enough for the 1st down.
Ball sent off to Bowden. Stop on the play by
And they're going to...
Harmon.
Did they give it to him?
Well,
No, he's going to be just short. They'll bring 3rd and about a foot.
That'll bring up a 3rd down and inches.
Walsh keeps it and has the first down.
Walsh on the carry for Spartans, first down.
And it'll be short of midfield, but it'll give Madison Central new life.
Well, it's pretty obvious that Eddie Walsh is not feeling any of the effects of the hit that he took last week. He seems to be very, very comfortable doing what he's doing.
So a new set of 4 downs for the Spartans. As time continues to go on here in the second period, they lead 6-0. First and 10, just shy of midfield. Walsh looking to put it in the air. He's looking downfield. Overthrowing Donnelly, who was covered like a blanket by Trent.
You know, you just had the feeling that they might try to come with something different there. You almost wonder why, because they seem to be controlling the line of scrimmage, picking up good yardage, and they try to come with this big pass play, maybe to loosen things up a little bit.
Well, I think Walsh probably called his coach over and said, look, I think that pass play is open, and wanted to go with it. A lot of the plays that you see out there are really originated by Walsh, just looking at the offense.
Second and 10 now for the Spartans. 6:26 left, second period. We have movement on the left side. Pitches back to Nugent. Nugent will be taken out of bounds.
And the flag's down.
The flag is going to be on Donnelly, who took a step forward before the snap.
Right, John.
So they'll move Madison Central back 5 yards.
And DeMarco is really upset about that penalty there.
As well, he should. It was a nice gainer by Madison. Allowed them to pick up a lot of yards. Now the Spartans are going to be faced with, well, let's see now. Where are they marking this off from?
It's going to be marked from the line of scrimmage.
And Donnelly's gone to the bench there. He's upset himself.
It should be from the line of scrimmage. So that being the case, they'll mark it off. It'll be 2nd and 15, which is quite a bit different than 3rd and 2.
That's for sure.
Motion against Madison Central will make it, as Jimmy said, 2nd and about 15. They're back into their own territory.
Whatever you do, I would bump Rob Stanovich at this point in time.
At least keep an eye on him.
Walsh looking, has it, pitches again to Bowden. Same play. Bowden is dragged out of bounds where the original line of scrimmage was. So it'll bring 3rd and 10.
Good. Trent was on the coverage there.
And Phil, that pitch was a little high. Bowden had a little trouble with it.
That was Nugent. He did well to hold on to it, John. He bobbled it in one hand there, and if East Brunswick player was coming up, they could have wreaked havoc.
Sorry, you're right. It was Nugent, number 23.
Interesting that Donnelly is not in the game.
3rd and 10 now. Right from midfield. Long count. Walsh still has it. Pitches outside to Bowden this time. He's got the whole left side.
Oh, mercy.
Bowden's still on his feet.
Mercy.
Cuts back.
He's in.
And he's going to score.
Oh, mercy.
And East Brunswick got caught on the other side. Bowden goes 50 yards for the score.
Somebody blew some coverage on that one. Never should allow a player to get to the outside like that.
I'll tell you, fine execution by the Madison Central team, downfield blocking and all.
Bowden, one of the fastest players on Madison Central, utilized his speed and cutting ability to outmaneuver Ramon Trent.
Well, Ramon came from the other side of the field to try to slow that play down, but it actually came on Brian Forte's side.
Madison will go for 2. 12-0, they're in the lead, and flags are thrown. Phil and Jimmy, I just want to go back. When Walsh made that pitch, the only person on that side of the field for East Brunswick was Brian Forte.
Well, I asked DeMarco earlier in the game, did he have any? Brian Forte hasn't been there. Is he going? He says, no, we're going to play our regular offense. Brian's a good athlete, and we're just going to do what we do normally.
Well, the problem with that is that Brian can't cover 2 people. And at any time you have Eddie Walsh coming to this side of the field, along with one of his backs, you should have 2 East Brunswick defenders.
The penalty was on East Brunswick, an equipment penalty. And Walsh will pitch it outside.
Trent.
And he's in. That's Nugent for the 2-point conversion.
And the two-point
And
conversion is good.
Madison Central ups their lead now to 12-0.
In the second quarter, the score.
Well, are we seeing deja vu starting again, folks? This is exactly the type of momentum that Madison Central is starting to mount. They were able to break the big plays. This is the big play that they've had so far. And we have to see how East Brunswick responds to it. And John, at the top of the game, you said East Brunswick would definitely like to get out on top, and they haven't been able to do that.
The score is 14-0. I apologize.
Madison Central has been a team, the few times that they have been tested, pushed, they've been, but they don't break, and that wishbone just keeps coming at you until they get it right.
But, with the 14-0 score, it is 2 touchdowns, and I don't think East Brunswick needs to change its tactics. They can still move the football down deliberately, and they've just been victims of a couple of excellent plays by Madison and having their drive stopped.
Third down plays.
Donnelly kicks it low this time. Goldstein will pick it up. And his knee was down when he picked up the ball, and that's what they're going to call.
I think he well should argue that play. It appeared as though he bent down for it, but I'm not quite sure his knee was touching the ground. But the official called it, and that's what counts.
I'll say this, and I'll go out on a limb right here. This is the most important drive for East Brunswick.
Yeah, it
they
has to be.
need to do something here. They're trailing 14-0 with 5:25 to go before halftime. They've shown they can move the ball.
But they haven't shown they can stop Madison Central. They did it in the first drive, but that's been it.
East Brunswick now comes out with Potter to the right, Trent and Giroux to the left, and Goldstein on the ground, and he gets right back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he loses about a half a yard. Let's call it 2nd and 11. And Phil, I'm wondering what happened to that shotgun wide open offense?
They've gotten a little bit conservative, but Madison Central has made some adjustments themselves.
That's usually what dictates that.
All right, Trent to the left, Giroux to the right this time. Forte, short drop, looks, pumps, looks out to the left for Trent. Trent makes a nice catch and drops the ball.
Broken up by number 7, Brian Donnelly.
In a way, he had to play defense almost on that play as Donnelly was coming up on the ball.
What happened, he jumped up there and his chest got to the ball, it bounced off it. Donnelly right on the coverage, though.
Big play now for the Bears. It's 3rd and 11. Ball inside their own 20. Spotted on, say, the 15-yard line.
I'd look for Mr. Potter slanting cross.
I watched Stanovich coming in on a pass rush here.
Forte drops, looks over the middle, looking for Potter.
Oh.
Intercepted by Walsh.
Intercepted by number 1.
And that ball just hung up there too long. Walsh comes up with the interception.
Well, I guess Walsh had the same idea I did, that it probably was going to Potter, and Walsh, being the good athlete he did, made a fine defensive play.
Not good athlete, great athlete.
So the Spartans take over with 4:26.
43-yard line.
And Madison Central is a quick strike team. They like to pour it on you when they're up.
1st and 10. Walsh looks over the middle, has Donnelly, he's still on his feet and drops. And if he kept his feet, he was gone.
Walsh truly threw that like throwing a dart, John. Threw it down low where it couldn't be reached, and Donnelly, using nothing but hands, picked it up. 2 fine athletes.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. They're on the move once again. They lead 14-0 with 4 minutes to go before halftime. Timeout is being called, an official timeout.
Again, I think you have a case where there's a lot of people on the sidelines.
Well, no, I think that's the case where the official was asking which door the coffee's in. So,
All right, we're ready to go. Walsh pitches to Nugent. Same old play outside. Nugent comes up with the same old result, about 5 yards.
Yes, he is. Good timing pitch by Eddie Walsh. East Brunswick again being caught inside. They're committing themselves too early.
And Mark Harmon again on the tackle. I don't know about career tackles, but Mark Harmon has the rank up there. He's been on an awful lot of tackles this year. And the previous years, he played some fine defense.
2nd and 5 for the Spartans. Inside counter, that's Nugent.
Walsh hands off to number 21,
Bowden, rather.
Mike Bowden.
And Bowden gets the first down and more.
Tackle led on the play by number 50, Matt Pazinko. And that's another Spartan first down.
I can't help but think this is reminiscent of the game just a few weeks ago where East Brunswick, you know, that first series or first couple series, and Madison Central got on track, and that was it.
Well, John, they're playing much better this time.
Walsh has it, pitches outside. This is Bowden, turns the corner, and is finally dragged down. Nice tackle by Harmon.
The ball to Mike Bowden. Stop on the play by number 34, Mark Harmon.
And if Harmon doesn't rip him down, it's likely that he's going in. You had Pilato out of there, but there's likely that a cut would have been made by Nugent, and he would have been in.
2nd and 5. Madison Central's not wasting any time. Right up the middle goes Nugent.
And it's just power football now.
Well, that defense has been on the field a long time for East Brunswick, and we still have 2:20 to go here in the second period.
And the Bears really not showing any ability to stop Madison whatsoever.
3rd and about 1. Inside goes Bowden.
Walsh hands off to number 21, Mike Bowden. Stop
And
on the play
Bowden's
by
just
number
short of the goal line.
Didn't seem like much, but he got himself about 10 yards on that
It's
play.
that same counter, right side Bowden, left side Nugent.
Goal to go.
Ball's going to be spotted at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for the Spartans.
East Brunswick calls timeout. Not sure it's going to do any good at this point.
Take their first time out of the first half.
So 2:02 remains here in the second period, and Madison Central is setting themselves up for their 3rd score of the game.
Well, they're just an awesome machine. We've seen them before. I've probably seen Madison Central play as much as East Brunswick this year, and they just keep coming at you. Just keep coming at you.
Right. If East Brunswick was having any success, it was on emotion in that first series, and they did an admirable job in being able to shut down the wishbone. But Madison Central coach Bob DeMarco, being the veteran that he is, he will give what's given to. He will take what's given to him, and that's exactly what happened. Some things opened up on the outside, whereas in the first game, the counter was working almost every single time. East Brunswick started to be a little tougher in the inside, but Walsh is ever versatile, and he will take what you give him.
Well, Jimmy, I got to go back to 2 plays. The catch that Donnelly made to keep the drive alive on a 3rd down, and then Nugent's sack of Forte on that blitz.
That safety blitz.
Those 2 plays thus far stand out in my mind here in this first half.
And, of course, Jimmy wants to go back to the field goal that wasn't kicked at the beginning of the game.
Oh, I'm not suggesting that a field goal should have been kicked. Quite frankly, I just thought that the pass by Forte didn't have a lot of zip on it, and if he had gotten there a little sooner, then Goldstein would have made the.
Walsh right from the 3-yard line. He's in for his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Spartan touchdown.
Makes it 20-0 now, Madison Central.
Quarterback Ed Walsh on the keeper.
His 21st touchdown of the year, and there's a very good chance that he will be the state scoring leader. We said it before, but DeMarco probably has made up his mind he wants him to be.
Another thing, Phil, we may be looking at first-team All-State selection in Ed Walsh.
Very well could be. Very well could be. He's done everything for the last 2 years, so why not?
And Madison Central will go for 2 again. Obviously not wanting to go back to the kicking game. And East Brunswick, I believe, jumped. We'll see.
Yeah, it was Joe Hankins on the left side.
Unless someone moved from Madison Central.
Well, you bring up a interesting point about Walsh being a first-team quarterback selection.
Probably not.
I was going to say, I don't think so.
Because he's not a purist. He's not the passer and whatnot. They could make him put him in one of those back slots.
They're going to find a spot for him. I don't think you can deny Eddie Walsh first-team status. He means that much to one of the top clubs in the state. And how can you take a player like this and put him, leave him off the first team?
Interesting. The penalty was against Madison Central. It moved him back, and now DeMarco has decided to bring Amato back out and go for the extra point.
And he has the leg to do it.
Kick is up, and I believe it's wide to the right.
It's just that he's not accurate.
So the score will stay Madison Central 20, East Brunswick nothing, with 1:59 left here in the second period.
Madison Central rolling up the yards, the offensive yards. defense doing its job also. 20-0 at this point is a very bleak score for East Brunswick, but I think East Brunswick should take one step at a time. I think the first thing they have to do is get a touchdown on the board against Madison Central, and then let's worry about getting ahead later on.
Well, Phil mentioned before, I raised the issue about going away from that shotgun open offense, and this is not to serve as a criticism of Coach Borden and the staff, but it was working. You have nothing to lose. Madison Central seemed to be confused by it, couldn't cover it very well. Why not stay with it until they shut it down?
But John, I also said Madison Central made some adjustments, and even without adjustments, they have such superb athletes back there. They'd make adjustments on their own. And
Donnelly kicks it on the ground once again. This is going to be Potter. Dave Potter, nowhere to go. And is dropped.
Ball picked up by number 85, Dave
Potter's still on the ground.
Well, he was nailed by Barry. Barry put that helmet right in his midsection there and nailed him.
We have an East Brunswick player injured on the field.
And Potter, not used to carrying the ball like that, was running this exceptionally high. And when you're running high like that, you leave your midsection open, and Barry laid it right in there.
And it's probably the Dave Potter's inexperience at running with the ball. He, as we know, has not had a lot of passes thrown his way. But today, he's taken a couple good licks.
Well, you know, Phil mentioned they don't throw to him often, but he doesn't drop many either.
That's a fact.
Anyway, Dave's being helped on the field by Phil Hostler, the East Brunswick trainer. And I think it was a case of getting the wind knocked out of him. And he's up. And he's clapping. You got to admire his spirit. He really is a team leader in terms of his emotional high that he brings to the team. And he'll be back in there, you know that.
All right, looks like a timeout has been called on the field. You see Marcus Borden coming out to chat with his players. Wouldn't be surprised with a minute 55 left that a number of plays are called here in the huddle.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see a surprise play, but you know, something that's really going to catch Madison Central napping.
But you would have to think that the Spartans are prepared for anything.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, the other thing is, too, why not? You got to get something going. You got to get a spark going for East Brunswick and try something out of the ordinary.
I've been talking about an option pass by Trent all year, and maybe he can't throw. I don't know. But
or someone else throwing to Trent on the option. Maybe Goldstein, maybe DeVito.
Well, there's no doubt that this is the time to be doing it.
Either way, Madison is going to be sitting back there.
All right, the Bears come out, and Forte goes back to the shotgun. And 3 wide receivers left. Charleston, Giroux, and Feldman. DeVito goes in motion. Little screen out to Giroux.
Ooh.
And Giroux actually loses yardage on it.
Yeah, Donnelly and number 40 from Madison Central, Calavito. They were ready for it.
So it'll bring up second and about 14. And that's not the way you want to be going.
Oh, mercy.
And the clock's running.
Down to 1:30 before halftime. Bears trail 20-0. East Brunswick now puts 3 wide receivers to the right. Forte looks, has some time, looks up the middle, and he's going to be taken down. He'll pick up maybe the 4 that was lost on the previous play, but the clock is running, down to 1:10.
And you can give that tackle there to the defensive backfield.
Yes.
They're just covering the East Brunswick receivers.
3rd and 10.
Okay, East Brunswick quickly.
Again, that shotgun formation. Forte looks over the middle, has Potter. Potter's going to be well short of the first down. It'll bring up 4th down again.
Not nearly enough. I'm not sure. I can't understand why Forte went to Potter as his primary receiver. He was well covered. Madison was ready for it.
Phil, I think you go to Trent and hope that you get a flag here or something.
Just put it up there.
4th down, 4th and about 6.
Clock is running, 30 seconds.
And Forte is going to call it right from the line. Looking, he's got some time, sets up, throws deep down the field for Trent. It's out of his hand, no flag.
What an effort, though.
What an effort and what coverage by the Madison Central defense by Eddie Walsh. He was there.
Ed Walsh and Chris Nugent right there. Ramon Trent making a tremendous effort to come up with the ball, however.
So the ball goes over to the Spartans with 18 seconds left. And they have good field position. What a throw and what an attempt by Trent. And just out of his hands.
And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised to see them try to wing one to Donnelly right here. I don't think Bob DeMarco thinks he has enough.
The ball on the East Brunswick 43. And you're right, Phil. Walsh drops back, looks, thrown deep down for Donnelly. Donnelly's got it. Trent went down, and I'm wondering if there's a flag going to be thrown. It looked like Donnelly pushed Trent.
Trent is asking for offensive interference, and Trent may have a point there.
I can't believe that.
However,
that wasn't
the officials
called.
did not call it.
Look at Marcus Borden down there. He's past the 30, pleading his case, and I'll tell you what, there was definitely contact.
There was some contact of some sort.
So we got a timeout on the field here. Madison probably uses its last one.
Against taken by Madison Central with 11 seconds.
Well, this is some of the things that happen in these types of games, and you can't leave it to chance. Perhaps Trent might have done well just to back up just a little bit on that coverage, but very unfortunate. I think it was an offensive pass interference all the way.
There was some bumping on there, and Trent went down as a result of it. You have to wonder.
Well, Ramon was simply just holding his ground, and Donnelly just tripped right into him. Well, what do you call in a situation like this? 11 seconds left. If you go to the pass, which Madison Central normally does not do, you can afford, you probably can get about 2 plays out of this. If they go to the run, you don't know what's, I don't know what the timeout count is for Madison Central. I recall them calling about 2 or 3 at least, so they may be out of them.
I think, Jim, they may have one left, but you could be right as well.
I think they're so confident in that wishbone, I wouldn't be surprised to see them to actually run the regular offense and take whatever's given there. If the middle opens up, fine. If not, pitch it.
All right, they're on about the 11-yard line of East Brunswick, and 11 seconds remain. Walsh looks over the middle and dropped by Stanovich.
Yeah, he had it.
He got an assist from the official.
Second down.
Yeah, but if he had held on to that, I think he would have been in.
Oh, there was no one around him. He had it. It'll be 2nd and 10. Madison Central can get a first down, but it looks like they're going to go for a field goal.
And it looks like Donnelly's the one that's going to be do the kicking.
Now, that's Amato who will do the kicking, but
now they're going to try Donnelly. Number 7 seems to be lining it up. Watch a fake as well. 8 seconds left. Donnelly kicks. It's up and it's good.
Oh.
Can you believe it?
Nothing like putting the nail in the coffin.
23 now. Madison Central, nothing in East Brunswick. 4 seconds.
And I tell you, there, Mr. Donnelly's Mr. Everything, all everything there. He's going to be the quarterback next year. He's probably going to be their extra point and field goal kicker next year. So they're getting him some early confidence in practice.
Rumor has it Donnelly's going to be cutting the grass next year here as well.
What grass?
That was Brian Donnelly's first attempt and his
I'll
first
tell you what,
field goal.
I can't tell you how impressed I am with Madison Central, the football team. East Brunswick came in here with a well-conceived game plan. I think they had the advantage of having played Madison already, and they have simply been not able to do anything with that. Madison Central continues to roll.
Well, it's 23-0. 4 seconds remain on the board before halftime. Donnelly will kick it off, and you know this one will be on the ground. Trent, Pilato, and Goldstein are back. And a little squib kick. Potter again, and he's probably wondering why they keep going to him.
Potter on the catch.
And he fumbles the ball. It's recovered by Madison Central,
No time left.
but that will be it. That should be the end of the half. And it is. So at the end of the first half, it's Madison Central 23, East Brunswick nothing. And quickly, gentlemen, your thoughts.
23 points on the board in the second quarter by Madison Central, as in my estimation, putting this game out of reach so far. I just don't think that East Brunswick's going to have the horses, and they haven't been able to figure out Madison Central's wishbone.
Well, John, I still think there's hope. I'm the eternal optimist. They have to open up, though. They have to make some connections, and they have to score. They came in there. They actually didn't play a bad first half. They were aggressive. Madison Central has done what they've been doing all year, and they're up 23-0. But East Brunswick can score here.
All right, there is another half of football to go, and while it might look a little bleak now, we'll come back for that second half in just a moment.
The winner of the 50-50 is
Okay, we're about ready to start off the second half.
9-8.
Spartans in the lead, 23-0. East Brunswick will be receiving.
At the refreshment stand.
Donnelly will continue the kickoff chores for the Spartans.
068.
Boy,
And it's quite obvious they don't want Trent to put his hands on the ball.
9-8.
And we're about ready to get this third period underway. Again, on the ground. DeVito will let it go. Trent will come up with the ball. Slips a little bit as he tries to get to the outside and goes down.
Stop on the play by number 23, Chris Nugent.
So Trent close to the East Brunswick 30. And that East Brunswick will have it there to start this third period on offense.
Boy, statistics really tell the story. Madison very even on the rushing offense. Walsh with 46 yards. Bowden 71 yards. A lot coming on that long touchdown run. Nugent 50. Angelucci had 30. East Brunswick, Brian Forte 10 for 16, 74 yards. But nothing to show for it.
Please do not throw your tickets away until
Dave
the winner
Goldstein
is
on
found.
the
Goldstein on the
That was
carry.
Dave Goldstein on the carry.
And Goldstein picks
Ball,
up,
second down.
well, let's call it 5 yards.
Well, that's the most he's had this afternoon.
So it'll be 2nd and 5 for the Bears. The ball spotted at their own 35-yard line, I believe. Forte again, hands off, and I believe it's Goldstein once again.
Well, first two calls, running plays.
Goldstein with about 2 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and a long 3.
Third down.
Forte brings him out. Trent to the left, Drew to the right. Brian looks, throws out to the left for Trent,
Oh.
and it's dropped.
Pass.
And that's exactly what it was, John. Dropped. There was a little bit of coverage by Mike Bowden, but Ramon Trent should have held on to that ball.
So 4th down, and it appears that East Brunswick will punt for the first time today.
Some other playoff scores at halftime. Seaport 13, Highland Park nothing.
Ooh.
St. Helens 10, New Brunswick nothing. Ewing and Franklin nothing at halftime.
All right, Forte in punt formation. Bad snap, picks it up, gets it off end over end. That's Walsh back there, picks it up, goes right up the middle, has some running room, and is finally taken down just short of the 40-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what. Not that it. It just seems to me that Eddie Walsh is such a quality player that
Stop on the play by number
he doesn't need to be
34,
back
Mark
on punt returns. He got nailed last week, and
at the
well, it's just
38-yard
an
line.
observation.
Yeah, I know his father probably winces every time now. As you mentioned, last week, twice he got nailed, and he had to wonder whether he was going to get up. And nevertheless, he's back there again.
All right, the Spartans will have it 1st and 10 from their own 38.
There's
Fumble. Let's see who has it. I think Walsh recovered his own fumble. He did.
Walsh on the keeper.
Call it 2nd and 10. And a timeout, official timeout. No, Madison Central calls timeout.
You got to wonder about that one.
Timeout Madison. Also in the second quarter,
Well.
Rutgers 21, Colgate 7.
Marco is.
Notre Dame 14-3 over Penn State.
I think that was a veteran coach calling a timeout right there. He may have sensed a little lackadaisical attitude on the part of Madison Central with the way they were. And he's out there waving his finger at his players and say, look, this game is not over.
Ladies and gentlemen, to let you know that both the
And
touchdown
Bob DeMarco, very personable young coach. I asked him about the best athlete that he's ever coached. Was it Walsh or somebody else that he had? And he said nobody that he coached here. He said the best athlete he ever coached was his brother, Ron. He coached him at Cardinal Spellman, and he went on to North Carolina to be a tremendous football player.
Yes, he
so
did.
he must have been a real good one, Jim.
Cardinal Spellman was in New York City.
Yes. 2nd and 10 for the Spartans when they come out over the ball. We've just started the third period. They're on top 23-0. This is the first round of the Central Jersey Group 4 state playoffs.
Ooh.
Walsh again having trouble with the ball,
yeah.
and Sean Smith falls on him.
Just to show you how important timing is, Eddie Walsh again bobbled that snap, and just that split second was enough to throw the whole play off.
So both teams coming out a little rusty after halftime. It'll be 3rd and about 12 now for the Spartans. They've only punted once in this game, as has East Brunswick. So we'll see if Walsh puts it up in the air. Drops back, looks over the middle, and he's got Bowden, number 21. Bowden's got a first down. And Bowden's finally wrestled down by Forte. But can you believe it, 3rd and 12, and they come up with a first down.
And a different receiver at that.
and a different play.
Too many weapons. Far too many weapons, Madison Central.
Well, Phil, I think it's just, you know, we hear so much about a question of destiny, but I think this team is destined to just go on. So it'll be 1st and 10 in East Brunswick territory. Walsh has the opening, flag thrown.
Yeah.
Walsh is all by himself. Walsh is going to score his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Yeah, they're going to bring this one back, though.
A holding call against the Spartans, though, I believe is going to be the call. So they'll bring it back. Walsh, though, goes 55 yards. No one touched him.
But nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, we'll tell you about that ability to cut back across the grain. Walsh showing it once again there. Rolling out totally to the right side, cutting all the way back to the left side, and going for 55 yards. All for naught, but still, nevertheless, great athletic ability.
So it'll bring it back. It'll be 1st down and 20.
Any reason to think that that's going to hurt Madison? Oh, boy. They just overwhelm me. I have never seen a team like this.
1st and 20 for the Spartans.
So it's 1st and 20. There's that little counter
Walsh handoff to number 21,
inside. That's Bowden.
About 5 yards on the play.
To bring up 2nd and about 15.
I'll tell you, for your Bears, you want to make something happen. You really want to throw them out of rhythm. You want to create a turnover. You want to do something to keep them from controlling the ball.
Ball spotted right at midfield. .8:30 to go in the 3rd period. Walsh looking to put it up in the air. He does. And almost caught.
Pass incomplete, intended for number 99,
Stanovich almost had it. I don't know who it was intended for.
And Sean Smith putting tremendous pressure on Walsh, almost creating an interception.
So key play here. The Bears hope to entertain any notion of being able to come back. They're going to have to stop Madison on this 3rd and 15, John.
All right, Walsh brings them out. 8:25, 3rd period. They lead 23-0, but it is 3rd and 15. Walsh almost fumbles it again, is going right down.
Walsh on the keeper. Tackle led on the play by
So we would assume that Madison Central will punt the ball away.
number 55, Mark Rulo.
Jimmy, do they have the same center?
4th down.
Not aware. The center has been, well, it used to be Kramer, but I'll have to tell you, I think it looks like Keith Berry there.
Keith Berry back to
Berry's
punt.
going to do the punting.
He's doing the punting. Okay, can't be him.
Keeper Ramon Trent.
Trent and Harmon are back for the Bears. Good snap. Ball is up in the air, good kick. Trent will field it
Trent.
and will go out of bounds. So East Brunswick will get it back.
77, John Santoro.
See if they can
Well-
get some sort of offense mounted here.
I heard some little coaching by the PA announcer there. He's yelling out clip. You kind of get that anywhere you go. They become fans and they forget that the microphone is on.
1st and 10 for the Bears, just shy of the 30-yard line. Trent and Drew to the left. Forte drops, looks, being pressured. Still on his feet, going the wrong way and throws it in the ground, and they could throw a flag, and they will.
By number 99, Stanovich, number 4, Hamilton.
That will be a penalty and a loss of down.
Preliminary call would be intentional grounding.
Well, normally I would say that an intentional grounding is not something you want to do under any circumstance, but in this case, Forte was a good 20 yards, maybe 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Throw it away.
Oh, good Lord. They mark it from the spot
From
right
the
there.
point, Jim.
Oh, good. Well, I'll take that back.
That's the problem with that.
Tremendous loss of yards there.
And it's a loss of down as well, so it's second and let's call it a bunch.
Well, I see it. They're about 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so another 10.
Second and 35, and Giroux and Trent come to the right. Forte takes the snap, hands off to Goldstein. Goldstein picks up some of that yardage back.
Well, we're going to give him 10, but in any case, that is enough to make him the rushing leader, sets the record for single season rushing yardage.
And that's passing Dave Kurzow.
And an official timeout. Trent working on Giroux there, get some equipment straightened out.
Well, let's see if Forte elects to throw it past the first down marker or if he's going to throw it underneath. See what Madison gives him.
Third and about 25. Forte looks, no one to the right, so he'll roll to the left. He's got an open field. And ridden out of bounds across the 20, but it'll bring up a fourth down.
I'll tell you, this Madison Central defense is just so very talented. They just cover just about anything that you can throw at them.
Veteran unit.
That'll bring up a fourth down for East Brunswick.
So 2 series now, and East Brunswick unable to do anything.
Phil, we were listening to a couple of halftime scores. We noticed that Ewing and Franklin Township, who Madison Central is vying for top honors in the state, Ewing and Franklin nothing at halftime.
Surprising.
Snap, Forte on the punt, gets off a bullet. That's going to drive Walsh way back to his own 30-yard line. Looking for the wall.
Oh, that's a clip.
No flag thrown.
Cannot believe they didn't call it.
And Walsh gets up close to the 40.
Cannot believe they didn't call that one.
Well,
Joey DeVito was just shoved aside.
The defensive player appeared to be trying to avoid it. Nevertheless, he did hit Joey. The official looking right in at it. And I guess he said no harm, no foul. But
there was plenty of harm on that one. DeVito wasn't able to make the tackle.
Well, the Spartans will have it again. First and 10 from their own 38. 6:40 left here in the third period. They're shutting out the Bears 23-0. Angelucci right up the middle. And he picks up about 7, close to 8 yards.
For a gain of about 7 on the play.
well, I'll tell you, the Bears came out playing with great intensity, and I think if that should wear off, they could be in deep, deep trouble. Madison could open it right up.
Let's call it second and about 3. Ball on Madison Central 47. Walsh keeps, pitches outside. Nice grab by, I believe that was Nugent, number 23, for the first down. Ball was pitched behind him.
I don't think the Bears could have played that any better, quite frankly.
Forte made a nice stop.
Yeah.
And Mark Harmon assisting on it as well.
But it appeared that Walsh was tackled. I think East Brunswick played it thinking that Walsh was going to keep the ball, and yet when he was in the grass, he pitches the ball. Just an amazing player.
First and 10 for the Spartans. Ball right on midfield. Inside goes Angelucci.
Walsh up the middle to number 31, Tom Angelucci, for a gain of about 3.
Second down.
Well, not surprisingly, Brian Forte is in there at defense. East Brunswick going with its best athletes. And Brian's going to have some choices to make after this season, gentlemen.
That's for sure.
Second and about 6. There's that inside counter to Bowden.
Carried by Mike Bowden, about 2 yards.
We were checking in with Forte after the game last week with Woodbridge, and he was in a rather relaxed atmosphere, feeling good about having another game here, and he had said that he was going to get official trips to Michigan, Notre Dame, Miami, and he also included Rutgers among that group as an official visit, and I find that rather interesting and perhaps revealing that the Scarlet has a chance to get Brian Forte.
Okay, third and about 5 now for Madison Central. Walsh again with it, and he's going to be dropped by Rulo.
On the keeper, brought down by number 55,
And so
Mark
Madison Central will have a
Rulo.
decision now, 4th and, let's say, 4.
Let's see what DeMarco does here.
I'll tell you, fine tackle by Rulo.
Yeah, it was really played nice by the Bears.
And it looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down. 4:10 left and the clock running.
Watch for Walsh on the keeper or the pitch to the outside.
Donnelly is wide to the right. Madison Central jumped offside.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that'll move him back 5.
Yeah, they perhaps would punt now, Phil. What do you think?
Yeah, and they're sending out the punting team. Berry comes out.
By the way, Kramer, 56, is the snapper for Madison Central on punts. And Ken Kramer, just a vastly experienced lineman. He was an all-county performer last year for the Spartans. And is so talented, he plays offense and defense.
All right, the penalty will move him back 5. 4th down, Berry's in, and Trent and Harmon back deep. And East Brunswick needs something to get some life into them. Trent calls a fair catch, and will let the ball bound around. And they'll be deep in their own territory when they take over.
Bears coming in with Goldstein and DeVito, trying to get a block on that.
At the 16-yard line.
Goldstein, nice job, came close. East Brunswick now will start from their own 16. Clock running, 3:35 left here in the 3rd period. Forte in the shotgun formation. Trent and Giroux to the left. Inside handoff to Goldstein.
Forte hands off to Goldstein.
Goldstein picks up maybe 2.
Number 4, Steve Hamilton. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the winning 50-50 number has not been claimed. I will read it one more time, then a new number will be picked. Please look at your numbers closely. The winning number is 069928. That's 0699.
Let's call it 2nd and 8 for the Bears.
Boy, clock continues to run, too. I'm not sure the Bears ought to put the ball on the ground anymore, quite frankly. It needs to be throw, throw, throw.
Shotgun, Forte looks to his left, pumps, rolls to his right, looks downfield for Giroux. Giroux's open, he's got it. 1st down, taken out of bounds, close to midfield.
Longest completion in the afternoon for Brian.
And I tell you, people, again, who haven't seen Brian Forte a lot, we've gotten used to it, but that is quite a play. He's scrambling, rolling out to the right, finding Giroux down along the sideline, and, of course, Giroux making a nice catch.
Yeah, Giroux, that's his 6th catch on the afternoon, so he has come through in a big way for the Bears.
1st and 10, just shy of midfield. East Brunswick looking to get something on the board. They trail 23-0 with 2:44 left in the 3rd period. Forte from the shotgun, has time, sees over the middle, now rolls to his left. He's going to keep the ball. Still on his feet, and picks up maybe a yard after all that effort.
And the official does not stop the clock. Boy, oh boy, it looks like he went out of bounds on that.
Well, the official standing right at his feet. Brian rolling out right at his feet. So.
You know, not that it would have made any difference, but it seems like every call this
And
afternoon is
someone
on.
is down. I don't know if it's Forte on the sideline.
Yeah, he's not up, or he's not there on the field. See if I can get the glasses down on that side.
I believe it is Brian Forte.
Oh, he is.
He's
The way they're looking at it, it seems to be a leg. Yeah, it's an ankle.
possibly a ankle or a cramp. We don't know.
You know, and circumstances are, well, looks like number 11 is in for now for East Brunswick, quarterback.
That's Jimmy White.
Okay.
He's been in there a few times. They put Trent and Giroux to the right. I don't think he drops the ball.
Flag goes down too.
And you would expect that to happen with a new quarterback.
Well, that's for sure. Jimmy White just hasn't had too many snaps from center in a game situation.
Tough set of circumstances for the Bears. When Forte was injured, he happened to be out of bounds, so there really wasn't any reason for the officials to call a timeout. And Brian is up now.
An equipment penalty again. That's the second one called on East Brunswick today. It'll move the ball back 5, make it 2nd and 15.
Timeout East Brunswick. That's their first timeout of the second half.
Forte is limping, but he is coming back out on the field.
I've said it before, I'll say it again since this is the last game anyway, but these equipment penalties are just cheap, wasteless penalties. I would have them take the young man off the field and bring in a replacement for a play, but to penalize it, I understand that, you know, the health and safety of the individuals at mind, but it really does nothing for the game. If it's part of the action, that's one thing, but here, you know, someone doesn't have a mouthpiece in and you're penalizing five yards. I really take exception to that.
I agree with you, Phil. There's a lot of so-called rules by the New Jersey Interscholastic Athletic Association that I have always
Well, Jim, that was
I've
John
not liked.
speaking, first of all, and I don't agree with either of you. First of all, as a parent, I'd rather make sure my son has all his teeth once he comes home and not pay that dental bill because he does a stupid thing like leaving his mouthpiece out.
exactly.
They have it in there for a reason.
So, White is still in there at quarterback, number 11. It's 2nd and 15. Handoff inside, I believe it was DeVito.
And looks like Forte is going to come in on this play.
Number 11, Jimmy White was in the quarterback for the.
Forte will come in, he is
Bears on
limping.
that play. Brian Forte is now back.
It's 3rd and about 12. More importantly, a lot of valuable time has been lost by East Brunswick.
Brian will probably stay in the shotgun so he doesn't have to move around so much.
Good point, so he doesn't have to backpedal from under the center. Clock begins again, 1:40 left, third period. East Brunswick looking at a 3rd and about 12. Just across their own 45-yard line. And he takes it from center and rolls right.
And Drew's open.
Over the middle,
Great
Trent's
catch.
got it. If he can get to the outside, Walsh can't make the tackle.
Trent, down the
Trent
sideline.
jukes one tackler, and first down deep into Madison Central territory, just short of the 15-yard line.
35-yard gain on that play.
Brian Donnelly, number
And maybe that's the
21,
spark East Brunswick needs to get going.
I'll tell you, just a fine play all the way around. Brian Forte, maybe a little bit of the varsity limp involved, I don't know. But he came out there, ran on it when he had to, threw the ball back over the middle. Trent making the catch with nothing but hands, John, and a fine move to elude Walsh and picking up good yardage.
All right, 1:18, 1st and 10 for the Bears on the Madison Central 17. Forte looking right, throws for Drew. Drew drops it right in his hands.
Pass intended for number 14.
2nd and 10.
Coverage on the play
Well,
by
I'll tell you
Brian
what,
Donnelly.
these curl-out patterns are not the thing to go for right
You
now.
want 'em to
They
go
need
for
to
the
get
end
into the
zone,
end
right?
zone. They have to get into the end zone, and they have to do it quick.
1:06 left in the period. 2nd and 10 for the Bears. The ball on the 17-yard line of Madison Central. They've been down this way before. Feldman now in to the right with Giroux. Forte from the backside, throws, he's got Giroux,
Oh,
touchdown,
beautiful.
East Brunswick. Pressure from his backside, Forte
Beautiful.
hung in there and throws a 17-yard touchdown pass to Joe Giroux.
Call it-
And that's the first score in 3 games now.
Yeah, call it blown coverage or call it what you want, but East Brunswick's in the end zone.
Let's try calling it a beautiful play. The line held up, gave Brian Forte some time, and Brian threw a picture book pass to Giroux.
17 yards.
Levine on for the extra point.
Interesting. I wonder if East Brunswick should go for 2.
Dan Levine on the try. The
This will be Dan Levine's first extra point against Madison Central in varsity competition.
Well, there's a lot of firsts on this play.
Greenberg is the holder. Kick is up. And it's good. So East Brunswick gets on the board. It's 23-7, and the bench has come alive, if nothing else, for East
And I'll
Brunswick.
tell you, they should come alive. The score is 23-7. They've made a game out of it. They're in the game. They've looked good, particularly on these last few plays here. A few breaks here and there, and who knows?
And they've also done a rather commendable job of stopping Madison Central's defense, their offense, on the last 2 series. So maybe not all is lost. I tell you what, looking at Brian Forte on the ground about 2 minutes ago, I thought we could just pack things up and go home. But Forte, tremendous athlete, tremendous competitor, was able to direct that the Bears' crucial 3rd down pass play, complete to Ramon Trent for 35 yards, and then hitting Giroux on a second down, I believe it was, and 17-yard touchdown for East Brunswick.
All right, minor holdup as they change footballs here. But East Brunswick on the board. More importantly, they have 1:01 left in this period and 12 in the fourth. So they have 13 minutes to see if they can pull off an upset here. Score is 23-7. Levine will do the kicking. The ball falls off the tee.
Kickoff for the Bears. Back knee for the Spartans. Number 21, Mike Bowden. Number 23, Chris Nugent.
And here we go, Levine. Gets off a nice high kick. This will be Nugent at about the 12-yard line.
Ooh.
And he dives and is taken right down.
Fine effort by Joe DeVito.
On the bottom of the pile, as he is most of the time.
Yeah, fended off a block, and
Nugent stopped on the play by number 22,
DeVito
Joe
limping
DeVito.
off the field. But I'm sure that won't stop him.
And now let's see what the East Brunswick defense can do. It rests on their shoulders at the moment. 55 seconds left in the third period. Clock running.
Needless to say, big series here.
Angelucci with the ball. And he's dropped right there at the line of scrimmage.
And a
Angelucci on
fired
the
up
carry.
East Brunswick defense, led by Mark Harmon
Led by number 55, Mark Rulo.
and Mark Rulo.
Second down.
And Rulo's playing an outstanding
Super
game.
game for him.
Wouldn't be surprised if Madison tries to play out the clock here. No, I guess they're going to go.
17 seconds, clock running. So we come down to the end of the third period. Walsh has it, keeps it, picks up maybe 4 yards. So it'll bring up a third down for the Spartans. And that'll end the third period, score 23-7.
Madison Central 23, East Brunswick 7.
So we go to the last 12 minutes, gentlemen. East
Well-
Brunswick has, at least at the moment, has seemed to have found some new life.
Certainly, the spark of putting the ball in the end zone has to give your team a lift. And the East Brunswick now faced with a 3rd and 5 crucial situation. If they can stop Madison Central, it forces them to punt deep in their territory. Probably will give the Bears good field position. And we know with Brian Forte at quarterback and those receivers out there, Trent and Giroux and Potter and Feldman, East Brunswick can be a quick striking offense. So it all starts with being able to stop Madison right here. Well, it looks to be about 3rd and 4, John. And you wonder what kind of play is called here. That Stanovich pass that burned East Brunswick the last time on a 3rd and short might be something to be watching for.
And here we go, 3rd and 4 for the Spartans. Ball resting on their own 25-yard line. Walsh still has it.
Stopped.
And it's going to be dropped, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Also the carry stop by number 55, Mark Rulo.
I believe he's short of the 1st down.
Boy, he got more yards than I thought he would.
They're going to call for the chains.
I'll tell you.
Wow, look at that mark.
Yeah, Jim, I agree. I thought he only picked up about a yard.
It does appear to be about a length of a football short.
And if so, a big defensive effort by the East Brunswick Bears.
Not yet, Phil. I think they're going to go. They don't want to give. I don't think they're going to give East Brunswick that ball back.
I don't know if they can go from there.
It's close. And they've held them. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and it's like 2 inches maybe.
It really is short.
The Spartans are short
Well.
of the 1st down.
What do you do here?
They're going. We haven't seen the punt team come out yet.
They certainly are, John.
With that offense, you've got to go with it. And they bring Dave Clark in. East Brunswick does. Take Mike Hack's place. They're putting him right up. It's Clark and Smith and Johankins right up front.
Big play.
Here we go, 4th and inches. Walsh keeps it, he's got the first down.
On the keeper.
Going over left guard.
So a new set of downs for the Spartans, 1st and 10.
Stop on the play, number 34, Mark Harmon.
Harmon is down, and he's been everywhere this afternoon.
First down.
Well, the East Brunswick Bears are going to have to try to get a turnover, but very difficult. It's been this afternoon.
Inside counter, that's Bowden. I'm sorry, Nugent, 23 with the ball. Doesn't get much.
And again, the Bears have been extremely tough.
Fouling on the play by number 23, Chris Nugent. Ladies and gentlemen, the 50-50 number has not been claimed, therefore there will be a new 50-50 winning number. The new winning number of the 50-50 is 090526.
Nugent picks up 2, let's call it 2nd and 8.
526.
Walsh looking, throws over the middle.
Ooh.
Oh, almost intercepted by Forte. His feet. Forte tries to
A good acting job by
pull
Brian.
one out there.
Brian Forte.
It's 3rd down though.
Boy,
Walsh just threw that ball. I don't think anyone was in mind. He was expecting someone in the middle though.
Again, the winning 50-50 number is 090526. You can pick up your winning.
Ball on to Madison Central, 38. It's 3rd and 8. 10:47 left in the game, and it's getting darker out here. Walsh has it, goes down the line, keeps it, now throws it up in the air. He's got his man. Nugent's got it, and Nugent's gone. No one's going to be there.
well, apparently that play is legal.
I can't believe it, quite honestly.
It was
I just can't believe it.
Just a magnificent pitch, almost like a pass play. Phil here is sort of just staring on.
You got it. They're almost too close to call on those pitches there.
Well, that certainly was a forward pitch. It was definitely a forward pitch. The point is that legal? And apparently it is. If it was a lateral, it would be something different. But he's pitching it out almost as if it's a forward pass.
If he's behind the line of scrimmage, Jimmy, it makes a difference.
Regardless, it's a touchdown. 62 yards for Nugent. Score now 29-7.
And this game's over, folks.
Walsh on the 2-point conversion, keeps it and goes down short of the goal. So the score will remain 29-7 as both East Brunswick and Madison Central fans begin to file out.
Madison Central 29, East Brunswick 7.
I'll tell you, that was the backbreaker. East Brunswick had come back with just a beautiful touchdown pass, and they had held them defensively.
Let me interrupt you a thing. I think that's Eddie Walsh down on the field there.
Looks to be a leg cramp or knee, possibly. I don't know.
He was the ball carrier on that 2-point try, and I know Johankins came down hard on him. Let's see. This could be a shaky time for the Spartans.
It is Ed Walsh.
Well, he's being helped up, and
Maybe a cramp.
well, I'll tell you what. In the Colonia game last week, Walsh, during that fair catch hit, also slightly injured his knee, and you see he's hurting. He's not going to run. He's walking very gingerly. That looks more than a cramp, Phil.
Nice bit of sportsmanship. Ramon Trent giving Ed Walsh a nice round of applause as he goes by him on the field.
Well, I tell you, good athletes respect good athletes. They know what they have to do to become that, so it's understandable.
And with the score being 29-7, John, I would suspect that Bob DeMarco will not risk Ed Walsh anymore this afternoon. We didn't mention that the winner of today's game will be playing the winner of Manalapan and Middletown South, which is going on right now. If Madison wins, and we assume that they will, the game will be played 2 weeks from today at this very field. Madison Central, being the defending Central Jersey Group 4 champions, will be the prohibitive favorite, I believe, during that game.
All right, Donnelly will do the kicking off for the Spartans. East Brunswick has the trio of Trent, Pilato, and Goldstein back. And I felt a few drops as it is getting darker here. And the ball on the ground. This will be Charleston going the wrong way.
He's backing up.
And it's starting to drizzle. And why not? We've had everything else this year.
That's for sure.
Yeah, kind of a fitting way to end the season.
So with 10:30 to go in the game, Madison Central on top 29-7. East Brunswick will put the ball in action.
You know, I'll tell you what, with the drizzle starting, I have never seen fans clear out of a stadium as I have right now. It seems as though the game's over with.
Well, they just want to get near the cars, I suppose.
Ball on the East Brunswick 37, and we'll go with it as far as we can until the rain becomes too heavy for us. Forte fakes, stands in the pocket, throws down, he's got Giroux.
Forte, pass complete to number 14.
Giroux's got the first down and more.
Stop on the play by number 7, Brian Donnelly.
He actually lost yardage.
Well,
Coming
He made
back,
the reception, yeah.
but it's a first down, East Brunswick. As the rain comes down a little harder now. Ball spotted right at midfield. Forte from the shotgun. Sets up, throwing deep downfield for Charleston.
Ooh.
And over his head.
And I tell you, John, as the rain comes down, there's a few facts that we need to get in that people may not know. Brian Forte, who has come on as of late, has a lot of things that he's done in his career. Most passing yardage in the career. Most passing attempts a career, most TD passes in a career, most TD passes in a game, and most total offense for a career. So that's quite a career.
All right, 2nd and 10 for the Bears. Forte has it, looks, being pressured by Stanovic, straight arms him, gets away, sets up in the pocket, looking for Goldstein here on the left side. He's all by himself if he get it to him. He does. No one in front of Goldstein, makes a nice move, still on his feet. And Goldstein, with all that, picks up about 2 yards.
And it looks like Stanovic is down.
Stanovic has a cramp, and Brian Forte is trying to help him get rid of the cramp. Or either he's trying to break his leg, I don't know.
Oh, dear.
While we see the trainers from Madison Central working on Stanovic, and in view of the rain, I do want to say that it's really been our pleasure for the last 3 or 4 years to cover many of these fine athletes. East Brunswick's had a tremendous run with them in terms of football. They've provided us with a lot of thrills and excitement. And despite what's going on here today or what happened on this field some 3 weeks ago, it's been a great experience for all of us. And I hope those out there watching share the same feelings that we have about these young men. 3rd now and about 5. Forte gets away from one tackler. Looking, lays it up for Potter. Intercepted by guess who? Ed Walsh.
Unbelievable.
Back in the game.
Let me just finish as the ball turns over to Madison Central. In addition, we have a lot of people that we need to thank from Channel 8. Cindy Schiffman, Kevin O'Rourke, 2 of the primary reasons for us being here year after year. Pete Canamessa and Dave Ambrosi, who are with us week in and week out for football, standing out in the cold just like we are. Unfortunately, they're never seen or heard, doing an outstanding job, and many times they're working with chicken wire and bubble gum to provide you with the pictures that you see.
They're the best.
So it's been a good season. It really has been. It's been an interesting one for us, and we've been so glad that we've been able to present it to you this year, and hopefully we'll be back with you again next year. As you see, Angelucci go up the middle.
And John, as we reflect on this game, the Bears want to come in here. They want to win, of course, but more importantly, they want to show that they could play better than that 55-3 fiasco, and they have. They played much better. They just
Again,
They
ladies
just
and
come up
gentlemen, the
against
winning
probably
50-50
what might be the
number
best
is
team in the state of New Jersey. I said it before.
I don't think there's any question in my mind that Madison Central is the best team in New Jersey, but certainly one of the best quarterbacks that I've ever seen play high school football is Brian Forte, and I think his due should be given.
Walsh brings him out, 2nd and about 7. And Bowden gets manhandled in there.
What makes Brian Forte unique, in my mind, is not only his athletic ability, but his intelligence. He is extremely intelligent, and it's those assets that are going to make him a great college quarterback. As everybody really knows, he's being hotly pursued by all the major colleges that sport the type of offense that East Brunswick has. Brian is a great option, a great passing quarterback.
3rd down for Madison Central as Walsh keeps it, and he'll go right down, and East Brunswick should get the ball back again.
I'll tell you, that East Brunswick defense has not given up yet. They are still hitting hard.
And it's a trait of an East Brunswick team that they're not going to stop until the game is over.
Last week we read for you the names of all the seniors. We wish those young men the best of luck as they go on, hopefully to advance their education or whatever careers they so choose. As Berry comes in to do the punting, and Forte and Trent are, Harmon and Trent are back. Rain seems to have let up just a bit. Nice high punt by Berry, fair catch by Harmon.
Ooh.
Right at midfield, and that's where East Brunswick will take it.
And gentlemen, I know you must be feeling a little nostalgic, both of you, as your daughters conclude their cheerleading careers.
Yep. It goes by quick, Jim, as you'll soon find out.
That's for sure.
So East Brunswick will have it 1st and 10, just short of midfield, with 6:57 left in the game. And East Brunswick will come out again with the shotgun. Forte from the pocket hits Drew. Drew makes the catch and is taken down by Donnelly. He'll pick up a few yards.
And Drew has quite a few receptions today, gentlemen.
Yeah, let's see. Nine receptions I have him for. Forte, of course, the passing statistics are starting to mount up, but East Brunswick naturally forced to throw.
Again, from the shotgun, they give Giroux about 4 yards. It's 2nd and 6. Forte stands in there, now has to move up, and he's sacked.
Santora was the one on that one.
Forte down by number 55, Keith Berry, and number 72.
Clock running, 6 minutes left in the game.
Rain has stopped, hasn't it?
It's coming back.
Forte looks, throws a little screen to Goldstein on the left side. Goldstein takes it back into the middle. It's going to be short of the 1st down.
Well, the thing that I look at when I watch this game is the pride that the Greater Middlesex Conference can take in being able to field teams of this quality. The Spartans, obviously, they're doing fantastic this year. East Brunswick enjoying another typically good year. And boy, the quality of football is just excellent in the Greater Middlesex Conference.
4th and about 2. East Brunswick obviously is going to go for it. And they're blitzing. Everyone seems to be coming. Forte gets it off, and Giroux wasn't even looking for it.
Wow.
And I still don't think he knows the ball came to him.
Wow.
What happened on that one?
So it goes over to Madison Central with 4:59.
And John, let me tell you a few other things that did happen this year. You got Ramon Trent had a tremendous year. Ramon Trent is the career leader in receptions. He came into this game with 1,164, which put him ahead of Barry Flanagan.
You talking about yards, Phil?
I'm talking about yards.
Okay.
1st and 10 for the Spartans. Little counter. Again, that's Bowden.
And if I may finish, Ramon is second to Ken Pruss as far as most TD receptions for a career. And of course, he has that 89-yard kickoff return earlier this year, which tied a record. So
Yeah.
it's been a good career for Trent.
Madison with its first team in, John.
Still going at it with 4:32. They lead 29-7. Walsh pitches back.
Beautiful pitch.
That's Bowden. Bowden gets the first down.
Driven out of bounds.
No, he's not driven out of bounds. Clock still moves.
They stop it now.
Okay.
Phil, you know, we've talked about Forte and Trent and Dave Goldstein, and that he became the career leader now. But
That's right. You know, we're sort of casual with that about Dave Goldstein, but the fact is, it's more yards than Beleza, Ed Krillis, Derek Rowe, Pete Guzak, and Joe Fisher. He's the all-time leader.
Right, and I'd be interested to know where Dave is going to pursue his athletic career, because he is an excellent wrestler. As a matter of fact, I think he has a bona fide chance of going far in the States. Don't know what he's going to be wrestling at this season.
Angelucci takes the ball. The point I wanted to make, though, you know, there are guys like Sean Smith and Dave Clark who have been there and have done an outstanding job, and they're young men that have some future in this sport.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And we've seen some talented young men. Todd Pechar.
Your friend.
Inside handoff again, Madison Central, and they're just going to keep doing this until the clock goes down to 3 zeros.
You know, it'll be interesting. My mind just naturally goes to next year already, and East Brunswick is going to be depleted of a lot of its senior players, as will Madison Central. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to probably have a lot of balance in the red division of the GMC. I don't think there's going to be any clear-cut favorite. J.P. Stevens seems to have a lot of players coming back.
And Walsh calls a timeout.
But if I can continue, John, East Brunswick always has good quality new people coming up, and you can never count them out.
They have some young guys on
people
that understand on the JV, on the freshman team.
Right.
That should contribute.
So, and you can't, I don't think you can forget Saraville. Saraville, I understand, had an excellent junior varsity and freshman team, and it would be unusual and interesting to see the Bombers be a factor in the GMC. You know, they're going to be going for their first winning season in 20 years. 4 days from now, Thanksgiving, they will be hosting Monroe Township, and it's a game that I believe that the Bombers should win. So I'd like to send my congratulations to Sal Mastretta, the first-year coach for Saraville.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in talking about some of the players there, I'd like to talk about Dan Levine, who I've been saying should be the all-state kicker this year. We missed it last week. He broke a record with 9 field goals, which was a record. We didn't have it in the book, so we didn't pick up on it. He's one extra point shy of Ted Pazinko for most extra points in a career. So it's been a great career for Dan Levine. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Danny and where he might go.
Okay, third down for the Spartans. 2:55 remains in the game. And Stanovich decides he wants to start it a little soon. And there's one young man that I want to address personally, and that is number 34, Mark Harmon.
Oh, wow.
I have watched a lot of football at East Brunswick. Quite honestly, I've watched it from the time they started playing. And I've seen a lot of great athletes, and in particular football players, come and go at this high school. But this young man has really said something to me over the last several years in terms of his athletic ability, his enthusiasm, his spirit. And I personally want to say to Mr. Harmon, thank you very much for making some of my happiest moments watching East Brunswick football center around watching him.
And of course, Mr. Harmon would be in on that last tackle there. And he has been the inspirational leader, John. We know the story with the surgery, coming back. It's been tough for him, not playing any offense, playing strictly defense, but defense he has played, and he's played it well. He has to be one of the all-time tacklers for East Brunswick Bears.
Fourth down for the Spartans. They're going to go for it. And Bowden takes it. He's going to be short, so the Bears will take over. And East Brunswick will have it with 2:16 left on the clock.
Rain continues to come down.
Ball over to East Brunswick on down.
East Brunswick player is down. Now they got him up. So
this might be the last time we see Brian Forte in an East Brunswick uniform.
I talked to DeMarco earlier. He said while he was able to say that this team was better than last year, he's not ready yet to say that this is the best team ever, but that he's coached. But you got to believe it is, Jimmy.
I have no doubt in my mind. You talk about a quality team, this is it right here.
Forte looking. DeVito's got it. And goes out of bounds. It'll stop the clock short of the first down.
Driven out of bounds by number 31, Tom Angelucci.
I think that's probably the second time we've seen that play this year.
Well, that's a lead into Joey DeVito. I want to talk about him. That guy has been playing injured for nearly his entire varsity career. And another excellent example, as we mentioned, Mark Harmon, just of being able to just put aside the pain and just be inspired enough to play.
Forte from the shotgun, drops back, has time, looks over the middle.
Ooh.
Right through Giroux's hands.
Forte pass incomplete.
And you got to say something about Joe Giroux. He's coming back from a shoulder injury. Separation, I believe.
Coverage on the play by number 7, Brian Donnelly.
So you got to imagine every time he hits that ground or is tackled, he's feeling a jolt. Clock is running, 1:47 now. As the 1988 season slowly comes to a draw for East Brunswick High School. Forte being pressured, and it's going to be dropped.
Oliveto.
Brian Forte sacked by number 4, Steve Hamilton.
Steve Hamilton, rather.
Rob Donovan.
Brian almost was thinking about trying to get rid of that ball. Now 4th down. Let's see what we have here.
4th and about 20.
And there goes Brian Forte off the field. Dan Levine apparently is going to be the punter.
Dan Levine on the punt for Brunswick.
Bad snap, Levine, and he kicks it out for a safety.
Danny Levine with a heads-up play. And what would you expect of a kicker but to get your foot on the ball as your last official act?
Really?
Some of it's frustration, but nevertheless a heads-up play. He wasn't about to give them another touchdown right there.
31-7 with the safety, and East Brunswick will have to kick it away. And while we go through this, let me one more time just go through the seniors' names once more so that we here have an opportunity to say thank you to them. Ramon Trent, Vanu Banderu, Dan Levine, Brian Forte, Joe Giroux, Jay Dunham, Joe DeVito, Dave Goldstein, John Pressman, Mark Harmon, Constantino Duano, Mark Rulo, Dave Clark, Rosario Chetta, Mike Hack, Tom Joe Henkins, Phil Miller, Mike Diallo, Sean Smith, Bob Zimmerman, Dave Hannon, Warren Greenberg, Mike Feldman, Dave Potter, and Brett Charleston.
And it's been a good year. It was their plan to get back to the state playoffs, and they've done that. We said that they had to go through Madison Central at the very top of the season, and we knew that would be tough, and it has been tough, but it's been a good year for the Bears.
Dan Levine will kick it off as a result of that safety, and Bowden will go right down to one knee. So with 52 seconds left, Madison Central, I'm sure, will be content to just run a few dive plays and go home quite content with a 31-7 victory and go on to the championship round of the Central Jersey Group 4 state playoffs. Well, gentlemen, let me say, Jimmy and Phil, again, it's always a pleasure to work with you guys. It's been a great season. We've had a lot of fun. I think we brought the people of East Brunswick the excitement, the feeling of high school football once again. I know we've enjoyed it despite some of the weather this year. And I thank you both for the dedication and effort that you put in joining me here. And for those who don't know, we've mentioned this several times in the past. None of us here are reimbursed in any way for our time or working for Channel 8. We would do it anyway. We love the sport so much, and we love being part of the scene.
And you see Ramon Trent going off the field, and some of the seniors hugging each other, and they know it's been a tough year. It's been all sorts of things that's happened this year. Somehow they've hung together as a team, and they came back. They've been respectable today. They, as I said, want to erase that terrible game they had at Madison Central early in the year. Madison Central is the #1 team in the state. East Brunswick has played them tough all day, and you can't ask for any more.
I agree with you, Phil. Well, and hopefully we'll be following the fortunes of the East Brunswick High School boys and girls basketball this year, as well as wrestling here on Channel 8. So before you know it, we'll be into that season, and we'll see some of these same young men. And
Hey,
Walsh will go right down.
I got to tell you, we forgot to mention the soccer program. Good thing we have a couple more minutes. At this very time, the girls team is going for its unprecedented third straight state Group 4 championship against Westfield.
That's incredible.
And they've already won the GMC tournament. Boys dropped their GMC final to St. Joe's yesterday, but they enjoyed an excellent year. But what can you say about the job that Luke Hosa and the East Brunswick girls soccer team has done?
Well, it's all over here from Lombardi Field, the final 31-7. A well-deserved win for Madison Central. They deserve to go on to the finals. Nothing to be ashamed of for East Brunswick by any means.
Not at all, John.
They played their hearts out. They did all they could. And as we said before, this Madison Central team has won a destiny. This was their year. They were not going to be denied, and no one really gave them a game of any sort. I think the East Brunswick football program is in excellent shape, as you've mentioned. Both Jimmy and Phil have mentioned. A lot of young people coming up. We've seen some of them this year. We'll see a lot more of them next year, obviously. Good shape, I think, for the future. I think we're going to see a much more balanced GMC division next year, as Jimmy pointed out. And so it's been a lot of fun, and it almost seems fitting now as we close out the 1988 football season that the rain begins to fall. It started with us in Cherokee, and it ends with us here at Madison Central High School. So for all of us who have had the pleasure of bringing you the 1988 East Brunswick High School season, I'm John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us. It's been our pleasure. Hope to see you in the winter with basketball and wrestling.